Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Sporting160EN podcast. It's been a little while, but we're back. We're ready for action. I got my good friend here with me, Steph. How you doing, Steph?
I'm doing pretty good. So today is our number 9 podcast.
Yep.
Sporting 160EN, and I couldn't be better. We're champion of Portugal in 3 different modalities, and we'll talk about it. But with the tie against Benfica, we retained the second place. Well, now if you look at the standings, shows up in third place just because of goal differential. But at the end of the championship, what counts is the games itself that we played against Benfica in this case. So we'll finish second place. But I'm very, very happy.
Yeah, me too, man. Sharing the same sentiments. We'll get into the Benfica game in a little bit. We'll also get into us being champions in basically every other sport in Portugal aside from senior soccer, but we'll get there. We'll start off from a game a little while ago. It was in Portimão, in Algarve, against Portimonense. I'll quickly give you guys the lineup. It was Rui Patricio in net, Coentrão at left back. We had Petrovic at center back because Mathieu was injured, Coates and Stefan Ristovski because Piccini was injured. Then in the midfield, we had Bataglia, Brian Ruiz, and Bruno Fernandes. Again, William was injured. And then Gelson Martins and Acunha on the wings, Bas Dost up top. And the 3 substitutes we had were Lenor, the left back, Mizic, and Freddie Montero. So listen, it was a good game between both teams. I think Sporting started very strong. We started dominating. We started showing our dominance, I guess, our quality, us being better. There was a chance early on from Marcos Acunha that just got parried away by the Portimonense goalie, and then Bas Dost couldn't reach the rebound. Our first goal both goals came from Bruno Fernandes. Our first one, a disgusting little chip over the goalie from a mistake from Portimão. They passed it off to, I believe it was Bataglia. Bataglia heads it to Bas Dost. Bas Dost heads it down to Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno Fernandes just chips it over the goalie very nicely, very clean. And then it was sort of a battle in the midfield. Portimonense started doing very well, countered very well, and they were taking a lot of chances coming through the left side, through the right side, through Ristovski's side. And then we sort of fell asleep on defense at one point, and they had a great ball from the right into the center to Fabricio, I believe it is. Yeah, Fabricio. And he just slots it in. It was nothing to complain about. It was clearly onside. Our defense sort of fell asleep. Petrovic wasn't on his man. Coentrão didn't really get there either. Coates sort of too far away from the play, but playing Fabricio onside. It was sort of undeserved, but okay, they scored the goal. We could have scored right after with Brian Ruiz. We didn't. He just went slightly over. And then the second half, it was a bit more divided. Portimonense definitely showed that they had a bit more legs to them. Again, we've been very fatigued for the last few weeks, constantly playing week in, week out, 2 games per week. But then our quality showed through. Gelson came through on goal. Goalie kind of trips him up. He passes. The rebound sort of gets to Acunha. Acunha centers it just too high for Bruno Fernandes. Gelson again almost scoring from a shot just a bit outside the box. Goalie was good to it. And then off a corner, the ball sort of trickles to Bruno Fernandes, and what a goal. What a goal. I was watching this game with my dad, and we were going absolutely crazy because we knew how important the result would be because of Benfica dropping points to Tondela. It was a huge win for us. It was a huge morale boost. I thought maybe this win, because it came so tough and so towards the end of the game, sorry, it wasn't off a corner. My bad. I'm just looking at the play now. It came off sort of just across into the box. Anyways, I thought because of this game and how tough it was, it would motivate us to go on and beat Benfica. Benfica's a tough team, to say the least, so that didn't go through. We'll get into more of that later. But, yeah, it was a really good game, a really tough game. Portimonense is showing their quality, but, we came through with a big win. Steph, what did you think of the game? Steph?
Yes.
Yeah, what did you think of the game, bro?
Oh, I think I called it 2-1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you did.
On our last podcast. Uh, Very tough game. Like I was expecting. They have two phenomenal players like Fabrizio and Nakajima,
Mm-hmm.
and these guys are just awesome players. Sporting in the first half dominated and played well. I really thought that if we played this way, it's going to be a win for sure. Um, but then they have a great coach, Portimonense, and he made some adjustments. So in the second half, after we were winning 2-1, um, in a 1-1, and then in the second half we scored the second goal, that amazing goal by Bruno Fernandes. Um, they make it tougher, Portimonense, and but going back to the goal from Fabrizio, which was a great goal. Petrovic is not a typical center back. So it was an adjustment, and he did pretty well, actually. I'm not going to criticize Petrovic because usually he plays number 6, un trinco, and he had to adapt to play center back. So it gave me the feeling that after reviewing the play, that him and Fabio Coentrão were kind of looking at each other saying like, hey, I guess you get there first, or no, I'll get there first, and then nobody got there, and Fabrizio scored. He's a phenomenal player. He wouldn't miss from inside the box, but I think that's what it was. It was a misunderstanding between Fabio Coentrão and Petrovic. Not so much Coates or Kitowski. But anyway, moving on. The second half, Portimonense played better. They made a change in the midfield of tactics, and they play out really good for them. Nevertheless, Sporting looked a little bit tired because we have played so many games. But when you have such a genius, a great player like Bruno Fernandes, you can expect amazing goals. He was not playing well. I don't consider him the man of the match because he missed a lot of passes. He has to keep on the pitch because you never know what it can. And again,
No, Steph, we lost you for a sec.
amazing saves as well. I remember a couple of players from Nakajima. Uh, One great save. Um, but I'm very content with that win. I was not expecting Sporting to go over there and win 4-1 or 5-1. No way. Portimonense is a very organized. They play well
Yep.
football, um, and that's why a lot of clubs are interested in Nakajima and Fabrizio because the whole season they showed they above average players. They could certainly belong to a club like Sporting, Porto, Benfica, Braga, or Guimarães, a bigger team.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's what I have to say about Portimonense. The Portimonense Sporting game, we won 2-1. It was a great win, and once we talk about Sporting Benfica, we'll understand why that win was so important. So that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, exactly. And quickly off the Portimonense point, like you said, they are a bunch of above average players. I mean, we bought one from Portimonense, Lumor. Porto bought Paulinho. Obviously, a ton of rumors with Nakajima. So, yeah, definitely a great team. I just want to ask, there's two questions on the game. One, because you don't think Bruno Fernandes is man of the match, who would you give man of the match to, Steph?
Uh,
Steph?
yeah,
Uh, Sorry, we lost you for a sec. What did you say?
the man of the match for Sporting.
Yeah, or the game in general, but yeah, definitely for Sporting. Who would you give?
For me, it was Ritovski. I think
Mm.
he's been a phenomenal player. He's been replacing Piccini quite well. To tell the truth, we'll talk about Benfica, Sporting Benfica soon. But I don't know why Piccini came to the pitch
Mm.
without rhythm. I would prefer Vitovski. But yeah, for me, he missed a lot of passes. Passes
Yeah,
that usually he doesn't miss, but you could tell that my man is exhausted. So
yeah,
these games now being played once a week, it'll be good for Bruno Fernandes because he's got the talent, and that's why Jesus kept him on the pitch because you never know when he could score some amazing goals like the first one and the second one. Both were amazing. Um, but you could tell he's tired. So
yeah. I agree. And my second and last question before getting into the derby, which I know many people want us to talk about, Vitor Oliveira, Portimonense coach, said at the end of the game that Bruno Fernandes is definitely the best player of Liga NOS this season. I agree 100% with him. Steph, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with him, or do you think maybe another player deserves recognition for that, for being the best player of Liga NOS this season?
he's definitely the best youth player of the league without a doubt because he's the one who won more monthly trophies, and those trophies it's voted by the players and the coaches. So
Mm-hmm.
most definitely, as far as the youth player, yes. As far as the best player of the league, uh, I think he might win it. He might win it just because. I mean, I like to be honest. Just because Jonas from Benfica got hurt and he hasn't played all these games, so I think Bruno Fernandes took his place because the debate was between Jonas and Bruno Fernandes, and since he hasn't played Jonas, Bruno Fernandes kind of normally took his place, and now he's considered the best player of the league.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bruno Fernandes just has a bit more on the ball that Jonas just doesn't. I think, but definitely Jonas is in the talks of best player of the year. I think also Brahimi, but I think it's more between Jonas and Bruno, basically because Brahimi he started very well and he sort of tailgated off towards the end of the season. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I agree with Manuel Oliveira. Steph, do you have anything else to say about this game?
No, it was a tough win, like we called it on the last podcast, and it was 3 points well conquered. That's all.
100%. All right, let me give you Let's go on to the Benfica, the Sporting Benfica, played at José Alvalade. I'll give you the lineups real quick, and then Steph, you can go ahead and give me your 2 cents about this game. We had Rui Patricio Anet, Fábio Coentrão, Jeremy Mathieu, Sebastian Coates, and Piccini in defense. In midfield, we had William Carvalho, Bataglia, and Bruno Fernandes, Brian Ruiz and Gelson on the wings with Bas Dost up top, and then substitutions of Marcos Acunha, Mizic, and Lumor for Coentrão. Steph, go ahead, give me your 2 cents on the game.
Okay, so the game, like we say in Portuguese, jogo de tripla. Anyone could win it, and it doesn't matter who's playing better, who's playing bad. Those games, it's the way it is. In 80 something, like 20 ties, 32 victories for Sporting, and 31 victories for Benfica. That's how close it is. So now we need one ties. Um, but uh, Benfica played better in the first half. For some odd reason, it looked like we were playing a Stadio da Luz, afraid, not keep pressuring Benfica midfield. They play better. Then um, I was watching the game on Sport TV, and then the commentator, which is not very liked by Sportingistas, um, he basically was saying that uh, o Jorge Jesus tinha que trocar e he had to swap o Bataglia com o William Carvalho, and he did. And in the second half, we played better. We played better. Um, then William Carvalho had to come out because he was lacked of rhythm. That, to me, that was a good substitution. But overall, the tie is honestly the best result.
Yeah, I agree.
It could have been 0-0, 1-1, or 2-2. I'm glad it was 0-0 because it benefited more Sporting. Like I said, if we win against Marítimo and Benfica, they play at home contra Moreirense. So if both clubs win, we finish in second at the last game of the season. Um, what matters is the games head to head, and Sporting has the advantage because they scored 1-1 at Stadio da Luz, so they win in the goal average, and that one goal it's considered two goals. I mean, and but the Benfica game it was more polemic than well played. I didn't like it personally.
Yeah.
It was a game that would it had emotions, but nothing spectacular. Like if I'm going to pay 40 euros, ah, it's a shitty game. Really.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw like to be honest, I mean, I'm Sportingista, of course I am. I am 100%. But Ruben Diaz, you should have gotten a red card, but Bruno Fernandes também. I mean, what he did to Servi was very harsh. He got a yellow, but he got lucky. And the only reason why Ruben Diaz um, got 2 game suspension now, it's because on the spot, Carlos Chistra didn't judge the play. So the rule of thumb is if the referee on the pitch makes the decision like he did with Bruno Fernandes when he did that ugly foul, then he called the foul, he showed him a yellow card. So usually o Conselho de Disciplina, CD, doesn't intervene. But
Hmm.
in the case of Ruben Diaz, so people understand, when he gave the elbow to Justin's face, everyone agreed that that should have been a red card. But since the Carlista didn't intervene, now Conselho de Disciplina can make the decision they call sumarissimo to intervene, which they did, and he got 2 games suspension. So he won't play the next game and the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Or yeah,
Yeah.
so besides that, you know, we had some chances of goal. Benfica did too. Uh, São Patrício was there to save the day. Um,
That's why we pay him the
so
money.
yeah, exactly. And I don't get what's going on with Bas Dost.
Yeah.
He seems to be depressed. I don't know. He did that phenomenal play, and usually he would try to score, but he decided to pass to Bruno
To
Fernandes.
yeah. No, to Justin, I think.
And I think it was Bruno
One of the
Fernandes.
two. Maybe, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah,
Let me see it here.
and but that
Sorry,
was
man.
his play. Yeah, that was that was his play. He had to go and finish the that play, but he didn't. So anyway, 0-0. I think it's a fair result, and Porto that they were champions because of the tie. But you know what? We kept the second place to get those $20 million to go to the playoffs of the Champions League. It's extremely important. So I just hope that when we go to Maritimo, we win in a comfortable way, so we don't have to suffer until the last minute of the game.
Yeah.
And that's it. I didn't like the Sporting Benfica game. I think it was very too many tactics and not well played and ugly game overall. I don't like being not all of them, but the vast majority. Now they're trying to ask Conselho Disciplina for 4 of our players to be suspended.
Which is a
Are you kidding me?
joke.
What is this? A man and their cheesesteak, and these guys, oh, I want this play and this play and this play and this play to be suspended. What the hell? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know what they're trying to do. They want to handicap us to play against Maritimo, but Conselho de Disciplina will not listen to them whatsoever. But that's it. That's all I gotta say. Rui Vitória, at the end, I guess he's doing his job as a Benfica coach, just showing that he has no class when he talks like that. Um, you guys didn't win anything. You guys didn't win anything. I mean, this year
Yeah.
Benfica win nada. Well, not 1 point in Champions League, nada. And they still and they still want to talk shit. That's what bothers me. We'll talk about volleyball because it's some. I did a little bit of research about that, and something funny came up. But Benfica talking shit now, it makes me laugh. And then when they say, "Oh, let's not talk about this year. Let's talk about the past." Yeah, let's talk about the past. But then when we bring the issues about the vouchers, emails, the E2 pay, they don't like it. So hey, you don't want to bring in the past. If you want to talk about the past, it's fair game. We'll talk about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, anyway, so go ahead. Give you 2 cents now.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. It wasn't that great of a game in terms of quality. Benfica, sort of right in the beginning, I think it was a game of two halves. Benfica, I think, maybe had the better of us in the first half. We created a lot of chances, just nothing concrete until the Bas Dost situation right at the end. Benfica in the first, I think, 8 minutes, Rafa hit the post. I was listening to this on the radio. I was on the cottage up north, like about 3 hours from Toronto, and I heard it on the radio.
Hey, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go.
That play to Rafa, it was a save by Rui Patricio, and then he hit.
And then it hit the post. Yeah.
Yeah. So another great save by my man San Patricio.
Of course. And again, like we said, that's why we pay him the big bucks, and that's why he's one of the best in the world. Really, that's why Portugal is European champion. The big responsibility was on his shoulders. But yeah, it was a good play from Rafa. Rui Patricio was better to it, and it was a huge save and a big miss for them. And then we started getting a bit more into the game. Coentrão had a chance from far. As we mentioned already, Bas Dost. My biggest problem with Bas Dost is he scores a lot of goals, and I like him for it. It's just, and winning against the little teams is what win you the league. Is just when we really need it, when we really need him, he doesn't show up. Against big teams, we talk about Porto, we talk about Benfica. He only has really one goal against any of those two, and that came last year against Benfica. None this year against Benfica, Porto, or Braga, if I'm not mistaken. In the Champions League, I'm not sure if he scored again. He missed an opportunity and a half against Barcelona. Today, he decides to pass, or not today, but on the weekend, he decides to pass it instead of shooting it. I like the guy. I really do. I just wish he had, Sangfria, he was cold-blooded. He was a killer. You know what I mean? He would take that shot, even if he misses it. We can't critique if he misses or the goalie saves it. Take that on. You're a great finisher. It's frustrating. I know he scored maybe more goals than them, but him missing those opportunities make me miss Slimani, make me miss, Freddie Montero in his prime. Even Volkswinkel would have those opportunities scored every now and again, or Lietzen especially. You know what I mean? He makes me sometimes miss a player with Sangfria that won't be afraid to shoot, won't be afraid to score. Second half, though, I think we played a lot better. It was a lot more spark than that we're used to this season. Better defensively, though we were pretty good defensively in the first half. Second half, I think we were just a bit better. Mathieu coming back from injury, I think Mathieu had a great game. Coentrão had a great game against his old team, but Coentrão almost always steps up against big teams. I know you like Ristovski. I agree. Maybe I think Ristovski should have started this game. But I think Piccini was just a bit better. Or not a bit better, but Piccini had a great game this week. I think William did well, but of course he couldn't finish the whole game. He was, coming back from an injury. Battaglia played well. a lot of good performance, solid performances. We didn't really give them much of a chance to score. I think the better opportunities came to us. Obviously, another header missed by another occasion where Brian Ruiz missed. It's not really a clear header. I mean, he was pushed by Jardel, but it just went over the net a bit. And then going to the polémicas, Bruno Fernandes, I agree. Listen, it was too late for it to really make a difference. So Benfica's just crying that you're robbed or anything, it sort of makes me laugh. I mean, it was in the 90-something minute. So Bruno Fernandes definitely deserved the red. But I think Ruben Dias has been deserving of a red for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and this game was no exception. He was hugging he was behind Mathieu, sort of grabbing him as if he was his backpack, foot to his face, nothing. The elbow on Gelson, like you said, nothing. And thank you very much for clearing that up, because I didn't know that if you not call the play that the Civic can really go back and review it and suspend, which is a good thing. And there was another play where, again, Ruben Dias should have been at least carded, give him a yellow. I think Ruben Dias, the fact that he finished this game was extremely lucky for Benfica. The fact that Bruno Fernandes didn't get a red on that last play, yeah, it was a bit lucky for us. That definitely deserved the red. It's just to show that even como polvo, this referee the refereeing in Portugal is atrocious. It's really bad. This season it's been horrific.
I gotta tell you that it's not Ruben Dias. That's not his name.
What is it?
Rambo Dias.
So that's for real. He's in the wrong sport. He should be in wrestling, not in fucking soccer. I don't know, man.
Man, he should be playing for Porto. He's a Porto player, bro. He plays at Porto, bro. I mean, the kid is good. I'll give him that much.
I agree.
The thing is, if he plays in the World Cup the way he plays at Benfica, he's not going to last the whole game. He's going to be sent off. He fouls too much. Like, I could see 2 penalties in our favor. And one not here, and the other one, Bas Dos, where he holds him with 2 hands.
Oh, yeah.
So, Benfica thinks we are blind. And we're not blind. We see the same things they see. Mm-hmm. So, they say that 4 of our players should be suspended. I could count 6 of Benfica that should be suspended too. Samari, he wasn't any better. Servi, he wasn't any better.
Yeah.
So,
the fact that Servi even played this game, but he got subbed on, is a joke, because against Paços Ferreira, he almost broke some guy's fucking leg in 2. It's embarrassing. Exactly. Or not against Paços. I mean Tondela. Sorry, it's embarrassing.
I don't even know why. It goes beyond me when Benfica cry so much about this game. This play should have gotten a red card, which I agree. I agree with Bruno Fernandes should have gotten a red card.
I agree too.
But then, if you're saying that Bruno Fernandes should have gotten a red card, I mean, have the balls to say that Ruben Dias or Ram Dias also deserved a red card.
100% he did, though.
You can be dead blind and then that doente da cabeça a dizer que just say so Bruno Fernandes é que mereceu o red card, o Ram Dias não. Come on,
Yeah.
Are you that naive, or are you that sick in your mind that you only see red? I don't like that. Me personally, I hate that. Good thing is my Benfica friends I know, they see the same way as I do. They're very reasonable Benfiquistas, and we all agreed that Bruno Fernandes and Ruben Dias should both gotten red cards. And Ruben Dias would have been more significant because he would have been sent off way earlier than Bruno Fernandes, like you said. Bruno Fernandes was only towards the end, so the impact wouldn't have been that big.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they crying about a penalty kick. Okay, you want to cry about a penalty kick, you're entitled to, but talk about our penalty kicks as well. You can just see it your way and not see the whole game. And then Karl Schiester did actually a pretty good game. Uh, but those penalties were fucking obvious. I mean, unless you blind, but that was clear penalties. What do you need? You need to cut off somebody's head to be a penalty? Anyway, but that's all I gotta say about the game. We didn't win it, but we tied 0-0, which was equally important for Sporting.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, with that away goal in Stadio Luge, we go up to second place, albeit that we win next week. Um,
Well, we don't need to win next week
if we tie and they tie, but I think they're gonna beat Moreirense anyways. Of course, if they tie, we can tie as well. We can afford to. If they lose, we can afford to lose. We just have to match the result, basically.
Exactly.
But I think it's to play to win. Jorge after the game, like you were saying with Rui Vitoria, he was making some comments that were. I mean, it's hilarious, really. But like you said, shows no class, which bodes in well with that club. I think Jorge Jesus was very well in his press conference. Really put him in his place. Rui Vitoria was saying that Sporting was beneficiado by the referee, and then Jorge Jesus not only saying that Sporting was more, affected by the referee or more prejudicado by the referee, but showing examples, saying, because of this, because of that, because of Ruben Diaz, sure, we could have got a red, but that Ruben Diaz should have got a red a lot sooner. Listen, man. But like you said, also it was a very garbage game. There was some emotion to it, but I think most of the emotion came from the fans. The players didn't emulate that. On both sides, really, Benfica and Sporting side, they didn't emulate it. It didn't necessarily. It felt like a derby, but the players, if the fans weren't there, it wouldn't feel like a hated rivalry, like a battle for second, like a battle that if whoever wins may still potentially. Though I didn't believe it to be true, but it could have still potentially brought them the title. It didn't seem that way. Sure, Sporting really went out to play to win, but there was not that much. When it really mattered, there wasn't the emotion to it. When it really mattered, Bas Dost decides to pass it instead of shoot it. You know what I mean? It was a bit of a mad game. For 40 euros, it wasn't worth the money, really. I agree with you, Steph. Anyways, I'll ask you some questions on the game. Who would you give the man of the match to? It could be on any side, if you even want to give a man of the match. I know you sometimes don't. But who would your man of the match be?
Most definitely, Rui Patricio. Rui Patricio, what a composure. He always shows up in big games, and once again, he showed up. And when our defense was deficient, Rui Patricio said, "Estou aqui presente," and he's my man of the match.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think just a close second would be Gelson. I think Gelson had a good game. He was taking players on. He was trying to create chances. I liked Justin a lot. I don't really have much else to ask or question, really. Steph, do you have anything else you want to add about this game? Or?
Well, it was 49,000 fans.
Yeah.
Pretty much for that amount of fans, which is a lot, everyone pretty much behaved quite well, exception for those firecrackers on the pitch. I hate that. It makes no sense to me. And also, apparently, the fans of Benfica, which we know that's the hardcore. It's not everyone. Most Benfiquistas are actually decent people.
Uh-huh.
But those fans are claques, or groups organizados, they don't call themselves claque. Nem tem vergonha na cara. Em vez de dizer que são claques, chamam-se grupo organizados. Nem tem amor daquilo que fazem. Anyway, apparently they were making sounds of the very light when the Sportingista fan was killed in 1996, and they were making fun of Marco Ficini when he was killed a couple of years ago. So that's disgusting. And again, a Federação Portuguesa, o presidente, o Fernando Gomes, and a APJ lá da Juventude, Népias, não falam nada. They say nothing about it. They pretend they don't listen to it, and that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. That you have a Benfica goes to court to stop talking about emails. The and then when they talk about fans that were killed, they disrespecting their memories and their families, and no one intervenes in Portugal. It's like a third world country.
Yeah.
Seriously, to me that bothers me a lot. You know, it's two of our fans that were killed, and the federation, the Portuguese federation, does nothing. A Liga does nothing. You know, the politicians do nothing. It's like it's okay to make fun of those two fans that would kill. It bothers me, and that's why I'm pressing on it because it's disgusting, it's appalling, and that's all I gotta say. There's no space for that shit in sports.
Yeah, they even the chance about it and shit like that.
Yeah. So, but besides that, the game was not that great. It was missing goals. I would rather see goals. But anyway, so let's move on.
Just quickly before we move on, we have a comment here on the YouTubes from Anna Gersin D'Souza. I believe it's Gerzin. If it's not, I apologize. She's asking. She says William did well. Do you think so? So what do you think, Steph? Do you think William did well?
Well, yeah, he did okay. I mean, for the amount of time, I think he hasn't played for a month. So
Yeah.
he lacked a rhythm, and you could tell. And George Jesus kind of knew. I think he must have been briefed by the medical staff. Listen, this guy can only play maybe 65, 70 minutes, and that's what he played up to like 65 minutes, I believe, when he was subbed. And he knew about his limitations, and he didn't want to push it because we still have two important games. We have to go to Funchal contra Marítimo, and then we have Taça Portugal against Sportivo de Aves on the 20 of May, the 20th of May, and that's those games are important, and let's save him for those two games. And he gave his very best, and it was consistent, especially when Jorge Jesus made the swap with the Bataglia. He played
Yeah.
much better because he has a better control of the ball than Bataglia.
Yeah.
Um,
He
so
dictates play a lot better than Bataglia. He's much better on the ball.
yes, he has a better vision and long passes. He passes much better.
Yeah.
But besides that, very content with Sporting. I just have that feeling that if Bastos took that shot, I think that would have been a goal.
I think
But
so
that's
too.
it. I don't want to harp on it, but I don't know if he's depressed because of what Bruno Carvalho said after
I
the
don't think
Atletico
so.
Madrid game. I think he took it the hardest out of the whole group. But it is what it is, and I like Bastos. It's a great play, but that was not a game for him again. Not too many balls were crossed to him. But
Yeah.
that was a phenomenal play. I mean, when I saw
That
that, I was
was.
like, "What the hell?"
Is that Buzz Doster or is that Messi?
When I saw
Ronaldo. Caralho.
that, that was a delicious play, and I said, "Take the shot." Even like you said, if he missed it, so what? I would
Yeah.
have been, "Wow, what a play." But when he
Yeah.
tried to pass the ball, he fucked it up because it was like, "What? Why didn't you take the shot, buds?"
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, but that's it, man. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, we have the second place in our hands. We just have to deliver the 13th of May, which is Sunday, which the
Yeah.
game will be now time zone at 11 a.m. Uh, so every game will be at the same time at 1600 in Portugal, 11 a.m. here.
Mhm.
So that's it, man. Let's move on to modalidades. I'm excited to talk about that.
Just one last thing from Anna, and thank you, Anna, for commenting. We do appreciate it. I'm sorry I didn't notice it earlier. She also says he was only. I think she's talking about Ruben Dias. He was only punished not to play next game, so LFK Luis Vieira doesn't need to pay the premium for the 50th game. That's funny. I agree. Maybe that's the case. Anyways, thank you for your comment, Anna. People, if you want to message us on YouTube as it's going on, we pay attention to the YouTube comments. Message us on Twitter. We're always messaging back. We're always interacting with you guys and appreciate it. Now, Steph, Sporting became champion a few times this weekend. Talk to me about it, bro.
Okay, so on Tuesday we have the fifth game of the playoffs in volleyball at home, no Pavilion Jean Rocha. Watched the whole game. It was a very, very exciting game. Both teams played well. Sporting and Benfica. They took it to the very last set of the game, which we won. The last set, and I gotta tell you, both teams played well, and beating Benfica was not easy. They were the champions in title. So now we basically, after 23 years, Sporting hasn't had the viable team. Now it was for 23 years, and the first year coming back, the first championship of João Rocha Pavilion, it's very sweet. So Bruno Carvalho was there, and the pavilion had 2,700 fans. That's amazing. It holds
Yeah.
3,000, and I think those 200 to 250 seats empty belong to the Benfica quota, so we couldn't really touch them. Um, but what a game, full of excitement, and I was watching it at work again, and it was hard to watch, really. But when we won, it was very sweet, and that's Sporting's sixth title. And then on Twitter and comments on Record or Ball, sometimes I'll go over there just to check certain news,
Mhm.
the ones that's convenient for Sporting, and the comments from Benfiquistas that were amazing. It making fun of us because some of them doesn't know our history, saying, after 23 years, title. It's like, moron. We haven't had a volleyball team for 23 years. That's why we haven't won in 23 years. You stupid. It's or saying that we spend a lot of money in those modalidades. It's not that we spend a lot of money. What about when you guys spend a lot of money? Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah.
And then I thought Benfica in volleyball had like 50 championships, and when I checked on it, they only have 7. So
And on the investment thing, eles não podem, então eles falem. You know what I mean? It's one of those. They're too much in debt to worry about that.
they have only 7,000 in volleyball, and we have 6, one less than them. That's it.
And we've been and we've been how long without it?
23 years.
Exactly.
The one that has the most championship as Sporting Espinho, they have 18. So for Benfica to talk about modalidades, they better not, because they don't know what they're talking about.
Mhm.
But anyway, these modalidades they paid by sócios. That's why we have more than 170,000 sócios. We surpassed that goal. That was Bruno Carvalho's mission to achieve 170,000 sócios. We have more than that, and us, you're one of them now too, because you became one on your birthday.
Yep.
No, we every single euro that you send when you pay your quotas, you paying. It's an investment to the modalidades. That's how
Yep.
Sporting does it. So anyway, so that was very sweet. And then over the weekend, our ladies, they beat Valadares 3-1, and they became again B campeões Portugal. That's an amazing feeling for those ladies. They played well the whole season. They qualified for the Champions League, which is a big deal. Um, they're gaining a lot of force. I just hope, and I mean it. I really mean. I hope that Porto and Benfica they come up also with a females team to make it more competitive in Portugal. Because the only teams that actually, uh, they they play well in Portugal, like as far as competing, it's Sporting Braga and Estoril. Those are the three teams that played the best soccer football in the female league. Everybody else Sporting wins 4-1 or 6-1. It's not competitive. So when they go to the Champions League, it's a different rhythm. So the
Um,
female league needs those two teams to come up with female teams. And then we had the handball. Uh, Hello.
sorry, Steph. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's good. And then we in the handball, they won against Benfica again, and that was an amazing feeling. And second year in a row, we campeões outra vez. So in one week, we were champions of Portugal volleyball, handball, and in female soccer. So we still have futsal, which the regular season just finished, and then we're going to begin the playoffs. And we have also hockey and patins. They're in the final four of the Champions League of Taça Europa, and also they tied this weekend, but they're just 1 point away from Benfica and Porto. They both in first place with the same point, 60-60, and we have 59. And so we shall see. Danny? Hey, Danny.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Steph. Just go ahead. I'm just have to handle something really quick.
Okay, but that's all I got, Danny. I'm done with the modalidades.
All right. Is there anything else we have to add for the thing? I don't think so. I think we won everything. We're champions in a bunch of other modalidades, which is sick. Like you said, if the others don't want to invest, the others don't want to invest, and we have, so we take advantage of that. And if they were the champions like we were, I think they'd all be celebrating the same way we are right now.
The investment portion of it, them talking about that, it means it's bullshit, because you have teams like Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain. They invested, and they're not in the final of the Champions League, are they?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I guess,
and we still have also table tennis, which would do we in a good position to win the championship as well. And that's it, Danny.
All right. So I guess that's it. We'll see you guys next week. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Hope Sporting wins on the weekend. And yeah, that's it.
Okay.
All right. Later, guys. Viva Sporting.
Viva Sporting. Vai ganhar contra o Marítimo 2-0.